We all know the author of Green Eggs and Ham, right? But do we know who wrote the famous Miffy books? The Miffy books that used this little rabbit, always in primary colors, that have sold more than 85 million copies worldwide, and that were translated in more than 50 languages. Hi, I'm Paul, and I pronounce Dutch words and names the way a Dutchman would pronounce them. The name of the author and illustrator of the Miffy books is Dick Bruna. You see him right there at work in his studio in Utrecht. And I used to live in Utrecht, and because this guy loved riding his bike to his studio, if you were early enough in the morning, you could encounter him on his way to work, which I did many times. We always said hi to each other. We didn't really know each other, but we were friendly, and that is my connection with Dick Bruna. Did you know that he actually wrote and published 124 children's books, and only 32 of those books were about Miffy? He had a whole cast of characters, but always in that same style. Now, he wasn't destined to become a children's book author. His dad wanted him to take over the family publishing business, A.W. Bruna and Son. He was a famous Dutch publisher, and he had a whole series of bookstores as well, if I'm not mistaken. And he wanted Dick to take over the family business, but that didn't happen. But Dick ended up illustrating 2,000 books for his dad's company and making about 100 posters also for that company. So there was this link between father and son. Now, of course, Miffy is only the way English people would call this rabbit, because in the Netherlands, Miffy is called Nijntje. Yes, you heard that right, Nijntje, which is short for konijntje, and konijn in Dutch means rabbit, so Miffy really means little rabbit. And Dick Bruna did not name Miffy Miffy. It was a suggestion of his translator. Her name is Olive Jones. Now, Bruna always used the primary colors to make his illustrations instantaneously recognizable and appealing to kids. And later on, I don't know if you noticed this, he changed his color palette a little bit to make the colors a little bit more warm and a little bit more personal, and they still had the same effect on the kids that he wrote his books for. He was very much an advocate of children's rights, and he said that we should take children seriously. He said you should take children as seriously as they take you. And I agree with that sentiment. So let's see if you remember his name. Who was the author of the famous Miffy books? His name is Dick Bruna. So tomorrow I'm going to start my new series about English words and expressions they never taught me in school. I talked about that yesterday. It doesn't mean that I'm going to end this series where Paul talks about Dutch people and Dutch names and pronounces them the way a Dutchman would. No, I'm going to still do this, but I'm going to alternate my series. So on day 1, I'm going to do an English contribution about words and expressions they never taught me in school. And day 2, I'm going to do things Dutch related. So you don't have to miss my Dutch contributions. But if you're interested in words and expressions that you never were taught in school, but that are used by English people every single day of the week, you might want to check in with me. So I'm here 7 days a week now. Can you believe it? Have a great day. Tot ziens. Bye-bye.